Welcome to episode number 22 of Shift Inside, and today we have a guest, a money mindset coach, Ali. And oh my god, this conversation was really beautiful. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you just struggle with money in general, and there is a high chance that yes, especially if you clicked on this episode, this is going to help you so much because in this episode, she gives us the 8 common major money blocks that you can find. So, my recommendation is that you really listen to that episode. You can take notes, but really listen with your body and see if you resonate because that's going to help you in making your life better and help money flow in more easily through your life. And so, really, sense you can also use muscle testing. That's amazing as well, just to check in with your subconscious mind what it believes, because your subconscious mind determines your whole life basically. And so, yeah, she shares about those 8 money blocks, and she also, by the end, gives you some tools that you can use to actually work through those money blocks. It's super, super interesting. To be fair, I have like 7 out of 8 I'm checking, and I still need to work on. So, yeah, I've got some work to do. And yeah, I'm just super excited for you to dive in. This episode is packed with so many insights. Like, literally, you can take the full thing and use it as a support for your inner work. 100%. It's really, really good. So, yeah, without any further ado, I leave you to the episode and I see you on the other side. All right, welcome, Ali. Thank you so much for joining me on Shift Inside.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think, like, for starting off, maybe you can just introduce yourself because I think that will explain everything.
Yes, sure.
Mm.
So I'm Alli, and I'm an energetic money coach. And I really help people shift their subconscious money blocks and help them with their money mindset. And do a bit of business coaching as well. And I'm also the founder of a non toxic perfume company, and that's called Meadow Fragrances. So I have a bit of dabbling into the health world and non toxic product world as well.
That's amazing and so needed. So needed.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. A lot of
Mm.
awareness needs to be brought to that world, I feel like, with so many toxic products, and people don't realize how detrimental they can be to your health.
Yeah, definitely. That could be like another podcast episode as well.
Yeah,
Because today,
that's right. Yes,
yeah, because today, it's all interconnected in the end because it's all about awareness, energetics, and all those things are still, we can use on so many dimensions in our life. And today, what we want to bring you is actually all the subconscious blocks linked to money. Because, when you have a business, we've all been there, the money blocks, abundance, scarcity. This is like really a huge topic, and especially like as spiritual entrepreneurs, soul-led businesses, it's really like a huge one because we have some resistance toward making money. There are so many things, and I myself am working a lot on that at the moment because I'm also in a situation where I'm struggling to make the money. And diving into my subconscious, I realized like there are so many things, even stuff coming from past lives, where I was hurt from because I had money. And so my soul is like, we're not doing that in this life. And I'm like, well, we're gonna have to do different, right? So yeah, maybe you can introduce us with. You can start with your journey, for example, and saying how did you come into this? Yeah, the money coaching, the money mindset.
yeah, thank you. And I can get into it a bit later, but this past lives and ancestors piece is a huge piece, I think, that we do overlook a lot of the time. But I do bring a lot of it into my coaching because it is so incredibly effective. But I suppose I'll start with my journey from the beginning. And the reason why I mentioned that I was the founder of this perfume company is because this was the catalyst to me becoming a money coach. I set up this business after I had my first daughter. And it was a big passion of mine. I absolutely loved running the business and speaking to people about health and the products that we put on our body. And after investing quite a lot of money into the business, I still didn't see the results that I was hoping to see. And what I was completely missing was that it's not necessarily about input versus output. So just because you invest a lot of money into something doesn't mean it's magically going to
Mm.
work. And so I had a big realization, a big aha moment that it's not about using masculine energy and just hustling and doing more. I realized I needed to start working on my inner self and my inner being and my own energetics. And in return, that would filter through my business. And so I became really passionate about learning about this and incorporating all of these practices I was reading about. I think Joe Dispenza was a really big catalyst for this. I think he's one of the pioneers,
Mm. Yeah.
and I really admired his work. But I think it all really changed for me when I started working with coaches myself. I could only bring myself to a certain point, and then it's when I started working with a hypnotherapist and an energetic business coach myself that I realized there's so much more under the surface that we can tap into, and came across subconscious money blocks. And if we have these blocks, it's going to be nearly impossible for us to get the results that we want in our lives. And one of the big blocks for me, I was realizing, was that because my first business took so much capital, so much cash, basically, I had a fear of running out of money, and I had a lot of trauma around that. And this is one of the biggest things that repels money or blocks money from coming in. Fear just automatically puts a barrier up. And so, one of the first things that I work with my clients on is removing that block. And the way that I do that is by using one of the core. So there's eight core money blocks, and I really dig into the first one, which is people are afraid that there's never going to be enough. You're afraid of running out of
Mm.
money.
Mm.
And what I do is I really try to bring them into more of an abundant mindset. In there's always more. The universe is designed to always have more, and to be forever giving and for no reason. Rivers just flow. They just constantly flow. They're abundant. Um, Flowers bloom time and time and time again. It's the law of the universe. But for some reason, humans have completely lost touch
Mm.
with this aspect of the abundant universe, and we basically just cut it off by believing there's not enough, or I'm going to run out, or and it goes into the lack and scarcity mindset quite a bit, into time. There's never enough time, or there's never enough money. There's people talk about, oh, it's cloudy out. There's so much lack and scarcity
Mm.
thinking. Um, and so this was a big one for me that I worked on, and have been working on, and still are working on, but have managed to really work through it with coaches and mentors myself.
Mm, yeah, it really helps actually to be guided because there are things that we just can't see. Like we have the dead angles and you can't change something that you don't know about. And coaches, like that's the thing, because we lead the way, we've been there, so we see what you don't. And also, it's not just that we see what you don't see, but it's easier for us to be honest with what we see than ourselves being honest with ourselves. It's like really, really hard to have this like radical honesty, but this is what moves the needle as well. And yeah, I'm really curious also. I mean, also, I wanted to touch base on something you said. Mm, it's not that like when you have those money blocks, it doesn't mean that it's impossible for you to make money. It's just that you're gonna have to hustle so much more and really like force yourself and push, and it's hard because you have like so much things that are like pulling you back. But when you work through those money blocks, as you said, and really rewire your subconscious patterns, you are slowly removing all those like I really see it as ropes that are like pulling you back, and the more you remove them, the easier it's going to be to move. And then it's literally going to be this flow, just like being in a river, and the flow flows naturally.
That's
And
exactly right. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like removing the boulders from the river, essentially. If you remove the rocks and the boulders, the water flows endlessly and with ease.
exactly. And also, you mentioned 8 money blocks. If you feel like sharing, I'm super curious what those 8 money blocks are.
I would love to share those with you.
And I'm going to blow my nose because I'm a bit sick, but you won't hear it.
It is that time of year. Yeah, so I'll just get into the 8 money blocks. I'll just list them, and then maybe if you want me to go into any of them in a bit more detail, I can.
Definitely.
So the first one, and this is also what I struggled with as well, is feeling not worthy of more money for whatever reason. Usually, this starts in childhood, familial programming, cultural programming, like you have to bring something to the table in order to be worthy of more money flowing to you. The other thing is feeling guilty or feeling really scared of spending money because money is meant to flow. It's an energetic exchange, and if you have that guilt or fear of spending it, it's going to just go stagnant and it's not going to flow.
I definitely have this one, like the two first one.
Right. Well, I think we all have an element, an element of all of them. That's why it's important to look at every single one individually.
Definitely.
So the third one is that I don't have ideas to make money. A lot of people I speak with, we talk about opportunities and how to make money, and usually that has to come from your soul, like for this aligned ease and flow in action. We can do meditations to sort of open up that field, that open up that intuition and that field of wisdom for soul aligned ideas to come through. But this isn't just a normal practice that people think about. So they're just like, I have no ideas. I have no idea what to do to make money.
And do you also have the opposite, like people, for example, who have so many ideas that they don't know which one to pick? But I guess it's
That's
still like another of the subconscious blocks.
right. It is. It is. And it's, I think the thing with that is that's almost a distraction or an
Mm,
unconscious thought. Whereas I have so many ideas, I'm overwhelmed. I just can't start.
yeah, because if
So
I start, I will be successful. And what happens when I'm successful and I get those responsibilities, right?
that's exactly right. Responsibilities and then identity shifts, which is very
Mm,
scary for our ego. Even if it's an upgrade, it still doesn't feel safe for our ego. They're like, no, I just want to stay where I am. I'm safe. I know I can handle everything that I've been given.
I can
Because
feel the
stepping
resonance. Yeah, definitely.
exactly, because stepping into
Mm-hmm.
your higher self can mean change. It can mean there's more, just more of everything, more money. But then there's more putting yourself out there, and there's more
Mm-hmm.
people that you might be meeting, and your ego doesn't know how to handle this very well, so it just keeps you
Exactly.
trapped where you are.
Stop moving.
I think this is one that we all can relate to. So I need to work harder to make more money. I need to
Mm,
put, the more hours I put in, the more money I will make, which I think now as a society we're coming to the realization that this is just completely false. You can work 100 hours a week and make not much at all. So I think that's a big one, and I really help my clients just do less but take more aligned effective action, and
mm.
then it all just flows easier just in general because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 80-20 rule, right? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Like it's 80% inner game, 20% action, and most
Yeah.
people have it completely backwards.
Yeah, and also because there is like other subconscious beliefs with like we've been so used to keep busy, because our parents have had been like hardworking, and because you
Yes.
still want to be appreciated by your parents, for example, or accepted by society, being busy is a sign of like, I'm an important person. Like, of course, consciously you don't say that, but subconsciously this is what your subconscious believes. So it's easier to keep busy than just doing what's right, and which means having more free time, because that would send some signals that your subconscious feels like is scary or dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that is spot on. And if we can
Hmm.
if you can just sort of bring that to light, like the first step is just being aware, really.
Exactly. Oh my God, yes.
Because like you said, it's stuck in your subconscious, and you can't change anything if you're not aware of it.
Exactly. And so that was number 4, right?
Yes, that was number four.
Okay.
And the next one is I'm just not good at managing my money. I think
Mm.
people hide behind that, where I'm not good with numbers, I'm not an accountant, I don't know how to save properly, I don't know how to invest, and use it as an excuse. And me included. I remember just not looking at my finances because I was too afraid. I'm like, I don't want to know what's in there. I'm just going to stick my head in the sand and just pretend it doesn't exist and just hope for
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, not checking the
Um,
bank account, and after 2 months, maybe I should have a look.
yeah, exactly.
Or maybe not.
Exactly. But managing money does not have to be difficult.
Hmm.
It can be quite simple. It's just making sure you're keeping track and knowing exactly what you have and how much is coming in and how much you can spend. And I'm still getting to grips with this as well. I feel like this is still a block for me.
And I feel also this is such a way to respect your relationship with money, like just like any relationship. I feel like when you really it's like taking care of it. It's just an energy in the end. There is nothing good or bad. It's like how we perceive it that makes it good or bad, but not the money itself. And I feel like for me, because I haven't been checking, I've been really disrespectful, towards money. And that's why my relationship with money is like,
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right. You have to put in the time, like any relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
you're spot on. If you don't nourish your money, spend time with your money, you're disrespecting it, and then it's not gonna want to respect you in return. So yeah, exactly right.
So true.
I think the next one is what we've already spoke about, where there's never enough money. So this is the lack scarcity mindset where money is finite, it can run out, it does run out, um, and the antidote to that is what I have my clients do, and what I did as well is, we meditate on more. There's always more coming. There's always more available because that's the law of the universe. It's gonna just keep regenerating. And this is the hardest thing I think to get your head around sometimes. I know I'm still struggle with that. I think we all do.
Gosh, yes. Yeah, yeah. I've been working on this one like a lot because I know I have this pattern in my family as well, and because our grandparents knew like they lived also like when they were very young, they had the war as well. And
Yes.
this is like definitely a big thing as well, especially like in Europe. And yeah, and I realized like there are layers and layers and layers. And if you actually, like for me, what I do, I love to be like, I'm really super conscious and aware of what's happening. And I see like really in things that seems so ridiculous, but even like, when you have food, like food is an amazing parallel actually. But like, I need to finish all my plate. I cannot leave anything on the plate. That's also something that's linked with scarcity. And I see that when I'm able to leave some stuff on, like, and be like, okay, I'm full, I can't have it anymore, or still like wash the pan when not everything is out of the pan. For me, that's like a big sign of, oh my God, now I'm stepping more into abundance.
Yes,
And it's
exactly. Like,
right.
eat it all up because there might not be more for the next meal. And
Exactly.
um, I think, like we talked about earlier, yeah, the lack mindset it runs through everything in our life. So not just money. Um,
Yeah, and a
but
great way as well, I think, for people to realize, like, am I like, checking those subconscious blocks? Well, observe yourself, because the way you react in relationship, with food, with time as well, is like
Mhm.
it's directly correlated with how you relate with money. It's like all resources.
It
Yeah,
is
so
exactly,
interesting.
and money's just, yeah, money's just part of that. So
Hmm.
for sure.
So that was
So
number five. No,
the
six.
was number six because I've got two more. So the next one is it's not okay to ask for more.
Hmm.
So you're putting a condition on money, like I need to do something important to allow money in. Whereas I really like to get my clients to the point where they value their self so much and they understand that receiving is a natural part of life, of the universe. And if they just stay open, money is just gonna flow. They deserve more. Everybody deserves flow and ease. And it's okay to ask for more. It doesn't mean you're greedy. I think there's a lot of like the greedy mentality that comes into this. Like if I ask for more, I'm greedy. I should only just have what I need.
Mm,
But I think we're missing a bigger point here is the more that you have, the more you can give and the more you can give to other people and the higher lifestyle you'll have, which raises your vibration. And, you're just going to go from here to here with everything. And up here means being, becoming a philanthropist. Sorry, I can't say
mm.
that word.
Philanthropist, yeah.
And really pouring back into humanity and into the planet.
Mm,
So
mm,
I feel like that's a really important one. And I feel like most of us
yeah.
sort of have that as a block.
Such a huge one. Like even like when I explored as well my subconscious, I realized that, deep in me, I had like if I have money, I'm a good person because money is
Hmm.
evil and stuff. And even just having conversation with my family, I'm like, oh, I know where that's come from. And I feel like it's really, really interesting. And this is what we mentioned a bit earlier, that again, money is just an energy. Just like time is an energy, just like, a knife is a knife, it's neutral, but what you do with it will make the difference. So it's more like the question is not about the money itself, if it's good or bad, but it's like what's your use of money. And I do believe that money highlights who we are deep inside. And so maybe if you are afraid of being greedy, it means that a part of you is probably greedy. So you can actually maybe see it as a mirror and a way
That's
for
right.
you to work on yourself, and it's okay. And I feel like once, like for me at least, like what helped me release so many like blockages, or at least like how bad I feel towards the blockages, is just accept that, okay, I have a part of me that's greedy, I have a part of me that feels superior, for example, and
Mhm.
okay, cool. And that helps actually make the process, and it helps release the blockages as well.
It
Yeah.
really does. The accepting yourself. I mean, we're all human,
Mm.
right? And just accepting that, accepting our blocks, accepting everything about us, because that is what has got us to this point now. Our blocks show us what's in the way, and our human experience is here to grow and progress. And that's what these blocks actually help us
Mm.
do. And this is why I think I'm got into being a money coach. It's not actually about the money, it's about the journey and the
Mm.
process of growing and expanding on your way to your money goals. It's about who you become on the way to your success. Because if you stay in
Mm.
the game long enough, you will be successful. Especially if you're doing this inner work, like I know you've done, and like I help my clients do.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
resilience and staying in the game and then growing and accepting and loving growing and expanding. And that is just part of the
Mm.
human condition. And this is why we're here.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And like somehow, as you were talking, I visualized it as, money can be like an amazing inner work project. Like just like relationship, especially the close relationship, those are the biggest mirror. So those are amazing playground for like doing all the healing and the inner work. But you
Hmm.
could also take money, and I feel like that helps, if you see money and your relationship with money as a good indicator of how good you feel about yourself, like what's happening internally as well.
Yes, exactly,
Love that
exactly. Look at your
image.
relationship with money and
Yeah.
you will learn a lot about yourself.
Oh,
And it's something I think
100%.
people don't look at too often because they just look at as money as just kind of like a boring resource. They maybe like feel bad around money, or they feel like into the next block, which you were talking about. They feel like money is the root of all evil. I think
Hmm.
you mentioned a little bit about that when you were talking before, where we have this deep ingrained perception that money is evil. But like
Yeah.
you were saying, it's what you do with it. Like it's only evil if you do evil things with it.
Yeah, and that's coming also from society, like the. I was
Sorry,
wondering,
my
there is a
dog
dog
is just
here.
moaning
I
at
could
me.
hear. But yeah, that's basically like that's also from the Bible, and the religion, like because people who are rich have been stigmatized so much. Like, and for example, in France, there is so much taboo around money that it's like more taboo to speak about how much you earn than about sex, for example. It's like, okay, cool.
Yes,
You
exactly,
see?
exactly. And
And this is in the subconscious mind, so it's not like when we work on ourselves, we can do all the work with like what happened in my life, being a child. There is the family, but there is also the society, the context you grew up in, and that plays such a big, big role, and the past lives. But
it really
there is
does,
more to
yeah.
it.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. You don't realize that, but and it's funny because I have two girls, 7 and 3, and so I watch a lot of kid movies, and there's always this evil villain that has millions of dollars, and but he's
Mm.
evil, and for some reason there's always like rich evil people on these cartoons, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is programming my children right now. I'm
That
gonna have
doesn't
to explain afterwards that it's just it's not actually true that all evil people have lots of money, and so
and vice versa as
and
well,
vice versa. Yeah.
in all directions. And so we did 7 blocks. There is one missing, no, if I remember.
I think it was that money is the root of all evil. I just sort of put that in there on
Ah,
the
okay.
end.
So could you like I think like for everyone just list again like just very briefly so we have it in mind. I think like
Yeah,
that would
sure, of course.
help.
Um, so the first one is number one. I'm not worthy of more money.
Hmm.
I'm scared or feel guilty of spending money. I don't have any ideas about how to make money. I'm not good at managing my money. I need to work harder to make more money. There's never enough money. It's not okay to ask for more, and money is the root of all evil.
Mm-mm-mm. I have at least like 6 that are reacting strong, and the last one, I'm on it.
Last one, yeah.
Last one is like getting better because of also all the work. So interesting. It's so interesting. And so how do you do usually to help people? Like, what would you recommend for people who are listening here? Like, if they, if they just resonated with some of the thing you said, what would you recommend them to do actually, besides working with you?
Right, right, exactly. Um, so I think the number one step is awareness.
Hmm.
Usually, what I have my clients do first is I actually have them journal about their mom and dad's relationship with money. Because and these can be conflicting as well, because I know my mom has a different relationship with money than my dad does. So you want to do it separately, mom and dad, and write down, pay attention how they speak about money, and journal about it. Write it all down, and then you will know exactly what programming that you've been exposed to growing up, because this is where most of these subconscious blocks happen, is in childhood up to the age of 7. And so their programming is usually your programming. And when you have this list of things, go into it more, and journal about it, and you will have so many aha moments. And I think it's important to journal because you can talk about it, but it's not until you start putting pen to paper. And I think when you put pen to paper, your intuition really kicks in.
Hmm.
And so you will be able to uncover, which is the first step, realizing that, oh, yes, I did think people with money were evil. That's not helpful. And then the other thing, which I usually help them with, this is more if you do work with me, but or in my programs, you can work in my programs, but there's different modalities that I take people through, like meditations to rewire your subconscious. And affirmations are helpful, but they don't really shift the needle. They're a bit surface level.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
find that, yeah. And they're great and they're nice, but and personally me, they never shifted the needle because your subconscious is like, no, that's a lie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe what you say. And unless you're able to really shift your energetics, but it's a process by itself, saying something and being very honest. I mean, at least that's how I do. If I say something and I feel the resistance in me, it means that I first need to feel the feelings and transmute the feelings. Maybe there is like some subconscious beliefs to rewire. Good that I know how to do it. And and then something opens and I just feel like if the energy is right, then cool, and I can make the affirmation. And just to touch base on that, I remember a friend sharing on social media as well, like if like affirmation don't work, if you don't believe them, but what you can do is say, I'm getting richer every day, like an evolution, because that's not a lie, and your brain is like, okay, cool, we're doing that, so we're in the process. It means it's true, you know?
That's right, it's true. And it I agree that that is more effective because your subconscious can handle that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
I'm
and
not rich, but it's
another,
getting better. Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that would be another exercise that I would recommend. It's almost exactly like what you said. So if you can just believe 2%, like there's 2% of you that believes that you're getting richer or that you're going to be successful or that you're removing this block, and just really meditate on that 2%. And the more you put energy on that 2%, the more it's going to grow and grow. And then, in a week, you might think, oh, it's 5% now. I feel 5%, and then 10%. And then, just keep meditating on that. And the other powerful thing that has shifted the needle most for me is shadow work. So
Mm,
integrating these fears and these blocks. And we don't, they're not holding us back. I mean, they are holding us back, but we shouldn't look at them as parts we don't want. What we need to do is bring light to them and integrate them so that they're no longer shadows, they're no longer blocks.
and they no longer control you as well. Like this is something I realized. I was like, it's actually a funky story because we don't like those part of us, so we tend to resist them. But the
Yeah.
resistance is actually what makes it worse. That's literally how you give those parts all the control. And I realized, like, I think that was like for an online ceremony or something, and my ego was like full on, like, I'm doing that better. Like the okay, thank you. And I was resisting that because I don't want to be like I don't want to be associated with someone who feels superior. I hate that. But
Yeah.
because I was really pushing that away, I was letting it play and I was really battling between like I will do this better. No, don't say that. Da, 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 da. But once I went on the side of the resistance and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just judging myself for feelings I have."
Yeah.
And once I leaned into like that part, like as you said, I would be like that brought the light actually, because I started to like I was holding so tight onto it that now I could degrip, and so I was just letting that part who feels superior, and it was just like, huh, you're doing that again, and she was like, yeah. It's so much lighter, and it doesn't even require you to change anything about your subconscious. It's just like being super honest with yourself and having so much compassion, so
Yes,
much
exactly.
compassion. Yeah.
Compassion, acceptance, like we were talking about earlier,
Mm.
and and just letting it run through you. Let it run through you. It just wants its time. It just wants to express itself.
I love
And
that.
when you resist it, then you're feeling guilty because you're like, oh, why am I feeling superior? Why is my ego telling me? And you feel guilty and you feel all these other low vibrational emotions. And
And
if
you
you
make
just
it
let it
worse. Yeah.
play out, exactly, then it unblocks itself. And
Yeah.
a lot of our other blocks as well come from repressing our emotions. So our energy
Hmm.
field can get kind of clogged up with this frozen energy
Mm.
that just is frozen in our aura, essentially. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is we manifest from our subconscious. So we manifest inwards going out, and all these blocks that are lodged in our subconscious, our energy can't flow freely. It flows through these blocks, and it gets um, what's the word, like
Like stuck
is
or
stuck or distorted.
distorted.
Distorted,
Distorted, yeah.
yes, distorted, and it's kind of going which way and everywhere. It can't just flow like a river. Again, the river
Mm.
analogy.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I feel like also what's the like because when we resist something, even if it's subconsciously, it means that we put energy on it. So we
That's right.
attract exactly what we don't want. And then we're like, I don't know why it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Have a look
exactly.
inside.
That's right.
You know? Yeah, no, I love this analogy. Yeah, I think like we could say so many things on that. Like this topic is huge, and as you said, it's like really, like it really relates to your inner work, your personal development journey, like the your relationship with money, and not just money, as I mentioned, with like all those shadow parts of us. This is literally what's blocking you is your relationship to it. I really like to speak about that because and that's also one of our mentors says, Shoshana. I like this. It's like the problem is not the problem, it's the story you create around the problem. Okay, she's
Yeah.
not the only one who says that. But it's literally those emotions, like they're not even yours. They're like the emotion, energy in motion. They're just here to flow through your body. But because we attach to it, because we think it's a problem, that's how you make it stuck in your body. And
Right.
that exactly that's why we keep the frustration, the anger, the sadness. And so what happens is that this will emit a certain signal and life will respond to it. So you are being delivered with something that can help you feel what was already stuck in you. But what we usually do is that we don't want to feel anymore, so we just add more to that. When if you really want to free yourself, it's just like you need to feel, release the resistance, and that's how it goes out of your system, and that's how you really free yourself.
That's so right. And there's so much we could talk about on that because and then the more you create a story around this fear or this anger, the more energy you're
Mm,
giving it. And then you're creating a belief because a story is just a belief, essentially. And
true.
so then you're perpetuating that story over and over and over,
Mm,
and it's not true. It's just we and then we can even get addicted to it a little bit because it gives us a rush, it gives us an emotion. But if we would just let it flow through us, and then it would be gone. And that's what emotions are meant to do. They're meant to be waves, not
mm,
not sort of, come in and just get stuck. And emotional work is a really big part of what I do, as well, which it surprises people sometimes because they're like, how are emotions related to money?
oh, how?
But
Good question.
hugely. And then once you start working on that, it's amazing how every area of your life improves. So your relationships with your family, your spouse, your partner, your children, your health, your mental health. Like it's impossible for all of it not to improve.
I so agree. I see like so many changes in my own life. You work on something on a specific topic, but you see the ripple effect on so many other things. Like even now, I'm living at my dad's place, and my relationship with him is so different. Like I'm really able to speak out, when something like he did something that is not okay with me and my boundaries, I'm really able to set them, which before I was completely unable to do. And I feel
Exactly.
also like with everything we said, in the end, it's like learning how to be comfortable with feeling discomfort.
That's right. Exactly.
That's the whole
Exactly.
thing.
Like it's discomfort. Our ego tells us that these strong emotions are scary and they're going to hurt us, but but really we can handle it. We never get handed
Exactly.
anything that we can't handle. And
Mm.
just sitting with the discomfort, letting it run through you, and then it's able to just to go and release itself.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, for those of you who are listening and who are like, oh my God, I don't know how to do that, and it's really painful and uncomfortable, yes, it is, and it's getting better over time as well. Because, like, for now, if you're like not used at all to look at your emotions, your sensations, it's really uncomfortable and it's unknown. And because your subconscious, your nervous system don't know that, it feels very scary. But the more you are able to look into it and surrender and really do the work, the more it's going to become known by your subconscious, and you will see that at some point it would be more uncomfortable not to look into it,
That's right. The more you
actually.
do it, the more you understand that it's not as scary as you think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, I feel like we can also round it up. Like, I don't know if there is anything you want to add, also, like how people can maybe like first you can say like what really helped you like on this journey, like the big needle mover, like if you had one advice for people on that journey.
One advice. So that's yeah, a really good question. It for me personally, um, and I don't mean, to talk about my upcoming course. It is not like a marketing thing, but for me personally, so I work with a mentor, and she did a free challenge about manifesting an amount of money. I think it was 5K or something. But she really got into the energetics of manifestation. Before I was just doing visualization, vision boards, and it wasn't really working. And it wasn't until I did this challenge where she really dug deep under the surface, and I realized that there's so much more that I didn't know about. And it has become a really important facet of my business now. I've created a course that includes some of the same principles, and it's really not complicated. It's what we talked about. It's shadow work, and it's journaling, and it's meditations. It's valuing yourself.
Mm.
And so I've put this into a course so you can get that. And I can give you the details for all of that as well.
Yeah, we can actually put that in the description. So,
Mm.
I mean, nice. You're answering the question I was about to ask, like how can people work with you, and also where they can find you. Like, where do you prefer them to contact you?
Yeah, so I think on my Instagram is fine. It's just at Alli Stubbings. A DM is great. I check my messages. So that would be fine. And you can find all my information on my Instagram. I have a website. The website is on there, and it's got a link to my upcoming course. And if you want to work one to one, just DM me. If you want to just have a chat through it all, if you're like, I'm not sure about working with you, I'm not sure about the course, but I want to know more, I'm completely up to just speaking to you guys. This is quickly becoming my passion. It's like I love sort of helping
Hmm.
people, women especially, just get unstuck. I was stuck at one point in my life, and it was a coach and mentor that helped me completely out of it. And now this is what I love to do. So, yeah, get in touch for sure.
Mm, I love that, and I will put the description. Like in the description, I will put all the details, so you don't have to be like, "Oh my God, what did she say? What was the
Yeah,
Instagram?"
yeah,
Yeah, you have it all.
Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thank you so much. If there is anything else you want to add before we say goodbye,
I
feel
don't think
free.
so. I think we've covered a lot, and
I
I've had
think
so
we
much
covered a
fun. It's
lot.
been great.
It's been great, and thank you so much also for like saying all those money blocks. Like I definitely feel I'm gonna do some muscle testing, even if I feel already what's present.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. That
also
would
a
be
really good
amazing. Let me
one.
know how you get on.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. And for you two listening, whenever you were listening, have a beautiful day, evening, night. And I see you in the next one. Thank you so much for coming, Ali.
Thank you.